Hello everyone, my name is Nikita Lamour and welcome to my second episode, should I say, of Education Talk. I think the last time I spoke about the environment, I mentioned that the child needs to have a quiet space to read and write. As you may see, I'm in my kitchen, it's quiet, so it doesn't have to be like a special room, so it can be any room as long as the room is quiet. So we need to have a conducive environment, we need to have a quiet space, and we need to have a literary environment. So the student young people, they need to see us adults and stakeholders reading as well. So I'm not going to talk about reading, I'm going to read to show that reading doesn't take time. Writing takes time, but reading doesn't take time. Okay, so I'm going to read my book called Clever Bookie. Clever Bookie, retold and written by Nikita Lamour, illustrated by Steve Aldeus. In Creole, we say crick, crack before you read a folk tale. Crick, crack. Once upon a time, a great king of Dahomey, West Africa, King Arthur, decided to have a contest. He invited everyone in the country. He was going to throw a ball up in the air. Whoever counts to 100 before the ball hits the ground will receive half of my fortune, said King Arthur. Many people came to the contest because they wanted to win the king's fortune. Teachers, scientists, doctors, lawyers, and many other professionals were present. Carpenters, plumbers, students, parents, almost everyone in town participated in the competition. They all wanted to be rich. At 10 o'clock, the contest started. King Arthur called the math teacher, Mrs. Pierre. "Come on down," said the king. Miss Pierre started to count by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8. By the time she got to 10, the ball had already reached the ground. Mr. Wu, the scientist, counted by fives. 5, 10, 15. By the time he got to 20, the ball had already reached the ground. King Arthur paid careful attention to what the audience was saying. He watched and listened to them counting by twos, by fives. So far, no one won. Now, he said, "Whoever counts 200 will get to marry my daughter, Princess Fifi." Another group of people thought counting by 10 would be faster. Mrs. Lee, the business person, started 10, 20, 30. She did not get to 40. Again, the ball reached the ground. There was a simple but clever man named Bookie. He was walking by and saw the crowd. "What is going on?" he asked. They gave him all the details of the contest. "Well, I'm going to show King Arthur what I know. He can throw his ball up in the air. He'll see what happens," Bookie said. Everybody gathered to win the contest between King Arthur, who is believed to be smart, and Bookie, who supposedly is a fool. "Well, is everybody ready?" hailed the king. He proudly threw the ball up in the air. King Arthur even ignored Bookie's presence because he thought there was no way Bookie could win. Bookie looked at King Arthur and said, "You're already a loser." Bookie counted like this: 40 on the top, 40 on the bottom, and 20 in the middle. That's equal to 100. The ball was not yet on the ground when Bookie counted to 100. The king was surprised. Everybody was shocked. They were astonished. Bookie, the silly guy, won. Buki did not only win the king's half fortune, he got to marry Fifi, the king's beautiful princess. I went to Buki's wedding. His friend Malice gave me champagne in a paper plate and cake in a glass. I asked him, "Why do you serve me like this?" Malice replied, "Too bad." I felt so embarrassed that I stopped here to tell you the story. Originating from West Africa, Buki and Malice are the two main characters in the Haitian folktale tradition. Malice is a smart companion known for being a trickster and always winning. Buki is the fool, the villain, or the loser. As the title says in this story, or as I read in this story, Buki is the clever fellow who gets to wed the king's daughter. So if you want to read more, you can order the book in Amazon.com, or you can email me at achievementgap2@gmail.com. I will write the email. I've written it in the first presentation I did. So, and it's important. I'm also a storyteller. I will dress up and will tell the story and act it out. But as today, I simply wanted to demonstrate, to show that writing, oh God, I keep on saying writing because I write a lot. Writing doesn't take time. Oh God, what am I saying? Reading doesn't take time. Reading doesn't take time. Writing takes a lot because I'm always thinking of writing. So reading doesn't take time. Writing takes time. So please read to the child, read to your children, read in the classroom, read on the radios, read everywhere. Reading is critical. It's critical to learning. It's critical to live in this world. I mean, it's really critical to live in the Western world, at least. It's very critical. So this global world requires reading. So we cannot be part of this global world without reading. So I will turn off the TVs, even some radios. Even some radios, I will turn them off and read. So I want to say thank you for watching, and please keep reading. All right. Bye-bye. Next time.